Well, I got to tell you, Don, it's true that I always wanted to be a rock star. And what I am is a failed rock star. Okay.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Top Fives with Don SILL. I'm your host, Don SILL, and we got a great top five in store for you today. Top five greatest rock star comedians of all time. And joining me today is our own rock star comedian himself, Joey Petroni. This guy rocks. Have you ever seen him do the karaoke?
When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange, people are...
What are you doing? It's 3 in the morning. You woke up the whole house. So they have to work in a few hours. This is ridiculous. Somebody consider it.
So please, everybody, remember, as always, to subscribe, like, and comment below. We always want to hear what you have to say because we all love rock stars. We love rocking. We love comedy. So here we are. Without any further ado, folks, let's get right into it. This is me and Joey Petroni going over the top five greatest rock star comedians of all time. Joey Petroni, what's happening, my friend?
Hey, man, Don SILL, how are you? Nice to see you again.
Good, man. Good. You know, when I was putting together this list of the top five greatest rock star comedians, I thought, who better to go over the top five with than my favorite rock star comedian, Joey Petroni, Long Island's own, been in the game for a long time, always had, rock star vibes. Yeah, so tell me about your little bit about your background and being a rock star comedian.
Well, I got to tell you, Don, it's true that I always wanted to be a rock star. And what I am is a failed rock star. Okay. And I'll tell you why. I was a bass player and I love playing the bass guitar. I learned how to play the bass back in high school. And we never had a singer in any of our bands. We never had a singer. Nobody had the balls to go up and be a singer. And when we did have a singer, they would turn their back to the audience. They were so damn shy, at that age,
Right.
So I put the bass down and I started taking vocal lessons, and well, I could sing, but I had no timing.
Right.
No,
that would be a problem. Yeah.
Zero. I'd be singing like the chorus during the lead guitars.
Right.
Be doing a lead guitar solo or a drum solo, and I'd be singing. So I never knew when to shut up on stage, and it had the audience. They would laugh. They would laugh because I was so bad with my timing. So I would do a cappella before the band came out. I'd go up early and just sing a few songs with no background at all. I couldn't screw that up. And to kill time, I started doing some jokes on stage. I always had the audience out there, and I was a failed rock star, a rock star wannabe, a heavy metal wannabe, and it worked out. So I'd make the audience laugh, unintentional at first. At first, I was really trying to sing. And I got their attention either way. They weren't doing this. They were laughing. So,
well, there you go, and that's what we all love about you, man. You make us laugh. You have a rock star vibe,
right.
And yeah, man. And with this kind of, just so people at home understand what we mean when we say rock star comedians. I kind of like the definition is basically a rock star comedian is a comedian who can not only rock the house, but also kind of has a unique cult following.
Okay.
They could also sell out arenas, and they live the rock star lifestyle. And then there's a few that are all the above.
Okay.
So basically, we want to get started with this. So how it works is I throw out my five, you have your five, we go one at a time. If we agree on any, those automatically go into the top five. But if we start to get more, we can start to whittle it down. But this is the top five rock star comedians. Joey, go ahead. What's your first pick, my friend?
All right, so my first pick is Jim Breuer.
Nice.
Okay, Jim Breuer. I watched him Saturday Night Live all the way up till now. I still follow him now because he's a huge Met fan. But he's a rock and roll comedian to me because you've seen him do his AC/DC. He mocks the He mocks heavy metal singers on stage during his act.
Yeah.
Can you shake it? Shake it! Shake it all about! Doing the hokey pokey!
Yeah, Jim Brewer's on my list as well.
Okay.
And so he is literally a rock star. Like you said, he traveled in a tour bus with his rock band. They traveled the country, and the rock band included our very own Paul Bond.
Now see him right here, right now, Jim Brewer!
Right.
He was a guitarist for the band there. So, and Jim Brewer, like you said, does a great AC/DC impression on stage.
Yeah.
What was it? The Hokey Pokey.
Hokey pokey!
Yeah. Brian Johnson doing the Hokey Pokey.
Yeah, and then he also does Metallica.
Yeah, yep, Metallica.
Yeah, ooh, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and Jim, a Long Island guy, he's one of us too, so that makes him extra special. So I'm psyched that you had him on your list. Have you ever had the opportunity to meet Jim or be around him?
I did meet Jim. I have an autographed book of Jim Brewer. I met him at Westbury Music Fair after one of his shows. Great guy, just as nice on stage as off stage, you know. Took the time out to talk to me, and I took a photograph with him. I'll send you a photograph.
Yeah, send me the picture. I'll put it. And not only do you and Jim both share rock star comedy, but you guys are also diehard Mets fans.
Diehard Met fans, you're correct. He does a recap of every game on his Facebook Live. He's a character, man. He makes me laugh all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
He is also, to me. Look, Jim's a very famous comedian. There's no doubt about it. But to me, I still feel like he doesn't get his full justice. I feel like he's not fully in the conversation where he should be. I think Jim Brewer is amazing talent, amazing stand-up comedian.
Yep.
And I think his accolade on the list of comedy, he should be higher on that list. That's just my opinion. Not that I think he's low. He's definitely known and respected, but I just think he should be higher.
Right. The name should be higher. Right. You should know that name more. Right. I agree with that 100%.
Excellent. All right. So here's my first pick. I'll throw out there. This is a very funny guy who kind of meets some of the criteria on here. He's definitely selling out arenas. He definitely has a following. And it's Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, to me, kind of embodies that rock star vibe just because the way he carries himself on stage. He seems to have a rock star swagger about him.
You ever go night-night, nigga? You ever go night-night, nigga? Everybody go night-night, nigga.
Right.
And not only that, he kind of turned his career. You know, he started out in he's from Philly, but I think he started out in Manhattan with the Comedy Cellar and was groomed through those guys.
Right.
Why is that if I'm with my friend, right, and we both get approached to get robbed? If I run, I'm the bitch, huh? no, I'm serious. Why can't I be the smart guy for a change? The guy that saw the gun and chose to get the hell out of it.
I think any comedian that comes out of the Comedy Cellar has a rock star ethic about them, or, you know, that
already.
Vibe. It just comes out. So you take that, combine that with his work ethic and his writing style and his swagger on stage, and then multiply times the to make it mathematical to his arena, selling out arenas,
right,
and then becoming a massive movie star. I think Kevin Hart is definitely on the list.
From the Comedy Cellar to a movie star. I got you, man.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Kev?
I agree with you. So unfortunately, I don't know Kevin that much, but you got the background on him. If he went from the Comedy Cellar all the way up to being a movie star, then he's got the rock, because rock and roll, that's what rock and roll is. Rock and roll is, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Yeah.
So if he made it from the Comedy Cellar to the big screen, man, then I agree with you.
Yeah, and just his swagger and style too, I think, put him on that list. Now, again, I'm not, he's a wild card, but he's on my top 5.
I do like him.
Yeah.
I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember much of his material, but I do know,
All right, very cool. So that's Kevin Hart. What's your next one on the list?
All right, so in order, I would go with Steve Martin. I'm a huge Steve Martin fan. Steve Martin kind of got me into the comedy frame of mind at a very early age, probably like 8th grade or 7th grade or something like that. My uncle had the double live album of Steve Martin.
Yes.
You know what the rabbit is?
Yes, I have that one too.
It's a live album, and then I just love the response from the audience at an arena. He'd come out and do King Tut. Remember King Tut?
Dude, yeah. I love this King Tut. I think it started in a stand-up act, then he brought it over to SNL.
Yeah, he brought it. Yeah, he did it on Saturday Night Live after. Yeah. And he's just an awesome banjo player. I don't know if you realize, Steve Martin is just as talented as a banjo player as he is as a stand-up comedian.
He's highly regarded. Yeah, he's a highly regarded banjo player too. Yeah. Like he's no joke. Like he's respected in the banjo community. Yeah. And he's still touring to this day, not doing comedy, but doing banjo performances.
Right, music. So he's a musician. To me, he's a rock star from an early age all the way up till today. He also was telling jokes. I believe he was a banjo player at first, but I think he was telling jokes in between songs or something like that, and that's how he just, instead of playing banjo and he was doing visual things. He put the arrow on his head and the bunny rabbit ears and all that stuff.
I have this on the whole time? Well, I must have looked like an idiot up here.
He had people laughing. So I think he branched off from musician to comedian.
I definitely agree with you. Steve Martin is definitely a rock star comedian. Okay. The control he had over the audience. First of all, he was selling out arenas back then, before anybody else was, really. Mm-hmm. He personified that rock star image too. Like, he was on stage, the way he controlled the crowd, the way he his performances, wild and crazy guy, and everything that he did. He had the essence of a rock star. And the only thing with Steve Martin that always upsets me is that he stopped doing comedy. It's like stand-up comedy,
He
kind of moved on from that after, I think, 2 really successful albums. Mm-hmm. And he may have had another one, but I know
he like 4. I have all of them.
Yeah.
Comedy's Not Pretty. Let's Get Small.
Let's Get Small.
Double live. Maybe 3 albums.
Yeah. 3 albums. Yeah. So Steve Martin rocks.
He definitely rocks.
Yeah.
I agree with you. He got too serious for a little. He definitely got serious. But I don't know if you look back at his early movies, The Jerk.
Classic.
Trouble? Is it an accident? A drowning? A fire? Fire?
Awesome. And then the bizarre ones that you never hear of are The Man with Two Brains and The Lonely Guy.
Yeah.
It was completely out in left field.
Well, I saw all those movies when I was a kid. I was a huge Steve Martin fan. Steve Martin influenced me huge in my life. Everything from the goofy silliness that he did to his whole style and he also had a swagger. And I think that's what all these rock star comedians will have in common, is they all have a certain swagger on stage.
Yep, agreed 100%.
All right, and here we go. So my next guy also had a lot of swagger. He was the first one to kind of really utilize social media to his advantage. And this is Dane Cook.
Oh, yeah.
So Dane Cook was selling out stadiums and arenas for a long time. In like the early 2000s, he was a phenomenon.
That I don't even call it by its name. I call it Tito. I disrespect it. All right, Tito? I call you TiVo when you record my shit, Tito.
he was the first comedian ever to really kind of leverage social media before it was even called social media to his advantage, and kind of create a fan base online and build a following that would then transcend to the stage and to audiences, where he would sell out shows nonstop. And he had the energy and the vibe, and like I said, he was just kids at that time would go crazy for Dane Cook. Dane Cook, I don't think people really understand the level of Dane Cook's stardom at that time.
Right.
But he was the biggest comedian.
Yep. And I'll tell you why right now. Here it is. Because you are mental terrorists.
And he was on the cover of Rolling Stone. I think that might be another similarity with all these rock star comedians. I think each one when mentioning so far was on the cover of Rolling Stone at some point. But yeah, Dane Cook, I got him on the list. What are your thoughts?
Well, I like Dane Cook too. I remember. Did he start the Garden? I remember.
I think he did.
Yeah. I look at rock star comedians. He had that rock star image on stage too. He had that crazy kind of hair going on, and and his body language. He really got into his act. Right. He could almost be like almost like a Jim Carrey, like a rubber.
Contorted his body.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who could sell out Madison Square Garden is a rock star comic, I guess, right? I mean, but I agree with you. He used social media to his advantage, and he got his name out there. I think pretty much self-promoted himself up to stardom.
Yeah, man, for sure.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And I don't even know. Why would I even know? Because you're the czar of right, and we're all just floating in the sea of wrong as you go by in your ship of right.
Yeah, very funny comedian. I really enjoyed his act. He's still around today. I mean, He's
still around today, but I think his obviously his shine wore down a little bit. I think what happens with some guys like that, when you're a flash in the pan, when you come to stardom really fast, right? And you strike a nerve within a certain demographic, which in Dane's case was this generation, these young kids, right?
Right.
Now, when these kids, the same thing kind of happened to Adam Sandler and a lot of guys, but then those kids grow up and they grow out of that. But the second generation doesn't buy in because now what was cool is now corny, and that happens after every generation. So I think that's what kind of happened to Dane Cook. I think his fans grew out of him. He didn't evolve with his fans. He tried to still gear towards that younger demographic. And I think that's what ultimately hurt him. Okay. But he's still out there. And I'm hoping he makes a resurgence. Dane Cook gets a lot of flack for joke stealing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, supposedly he's, and you can see it online too. He stole some material allegedly from Louis C.K. He did everything Louis did except masturbate in front of women.
Oh, well, thank God for that.
But I do think that CK and Dane are cool now. There's a famous scene from Louis, the show on FX, where Louis confronts Dane Cook about this.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Oh, nice.
I'll put it in here. Hopefully they let me keep it on here.
Because everything I read about me was about how I stole jokes from you, which I didn't.
I kind of think you did.
Dude, why would I steal 3 jokes from you when I have hours of material? Why? Why would I do that? Risk my reputation?
Because they were funny jokes.
Okay. So, but yeah, Dane Cook. So let's recap where we are right now.
Okay.
So right now we have Jim Breuer. We both agree. Then we have Kevin Hart, Steve Martin, and Dane Cook. So these are the 4 we're playing with right now. And what's your next pick?
My next pick will be Sam Kinison.
Yes.
Sam Kinison.
Yes.
One of a kind. There'll never be another Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
Another one of my all-time favorites.
I know you see these porno movies and the girl's like, oh yeah, let me, oh yeah, something. No. Yeah, that's in the movies. In real life, it's. In real life, they're trying not to throw up the lobster you bought them to get you to blow you in the first place, all right?
For sure. Sam Kinison kind of is the epitome of the rock star comedian. He lived fast. He died fast. To me, he was the Motley Crue of stand-up comedy. The stories of Sam, binging with other comedians that, like just doing, tons of drugs, right. Booze, fast women. Sam Kinison, I would say, as far as I know, lived the lifestyle, like the rock star lifestyle, more than any other comedian that ever lived. He was like the Ozzy Osbourne of comedy. And his stage presence reeked of that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so Sam Kinison also did Wild Thing. Remember he did that video, Wild Thing?
Every time I kiss you, I taste what other men have for lunch. The only thing that gets you off is to see me in pain, but I think I love you.
He's singing the vocals in there, and he's throwing his stand-up comedy into the video, and to me, that's just rock and roll to the team, man.
Dude, that music video alone. Yeah. With Jessica Hahn rolling around, he's making out with her. Then you have like every rock star of the time, like even Paul Stanley's in there. You got Steven Tyler.
Yep. They all loved and respected Sam Kinison. They all wanted to be a part of his gimmick, his presence, man. He was a character. So.
Yep, Sam Kinison. Definitely making the list. He is the quintessential rock star comedian, and what kind of rock star? I mean, whenever you talk about Sam Kinison, it's kind of like Tupac and Biggie, right? When you mention Sam Kinison, you got to go with Dice, and Andrew Dice Clay is my next pick.
I agree. Yep.
So Andrew Dice Clay, to me, he changed the face of comedy and comedy specials with The Dice Man Cometh. He had a kind of brash and cringeworthy comedy style that made him an iconic figure in stand-up. And he also had a cult following that, just like a rock band, wanted to hear his song. Like, how when you go to a rock concert you want to hear your favorite songs?
Yeah.
Comedy doesn't usually do that, because once you tell the joke, the trick, the magic's out of the bag kind of thing. Right. But with Dice, people wanted to hear the nursery rhymes, and they would repeat them just like at a concert. She needed the money. They would yell out all of that.
Hickory dickory dock, some chick was sucking my cock. The clock struck 2, I dropped my goo, I dumped the bitch on the next block. Oh! End of story.
He to this day lives like a rock star. The sunglasses, the leather jacket, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Dice Clay also personifies that rock star comedian image.
100%, man. He came out with the cigarette in his mouth. He did the old crazy round, right? His stage presence. Yes, exactly. His stage presence alone was rock and roll, 100%. His outfit, his leather jacket, like you said, sunglasses. He took control of that stage like a rock star, and everybody would finish his nursery rhymes, like you said, man. He started off, and everybody would just like the chorus to a song.
Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Long came a Spidey, sat down beside, he said, "Hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?" Oh!
Yeah, man. And now, I think we're around the same age. When Dice came out, I was a teenager, and this guy influenced me like nobody else. I love George Carlin. He's my favorite comedian. I love Steve Martin, but Dice, it almost became like, again, his stuff doesn't hold up to today's cancel culture standards by any means. But when you were a kid, he kind of gave us all a little swagger, and we all, you know, said those nursery rhymes and oh, hey, and leather jackets.
Yep.
Did he have that kind of effect on you?
Oh, 100%, man. I had his cassette tape in the car. I drive around. I mean, what other comic do you drive around listening to nursery, Hickory Dickory, you know, and you're saying it, you know, you're singing it like you're singing "I Want to Rock" by Twisted Sister. You know, it was very strange back then. You know, I had in my glove box, I would have you know, Andrew Dice Clay's cassette tape sitting side by side with Allison in Chains or something like that.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, he was in his cassette tape was in the same. Remember those big boxes of tapes we used to have?
Yeah.
It'd be Aerosmith, you know, it'd be
right.
Badlands, you know, Led Zeppelin, Andrew Dice Clay. So he was a rock star to me too, man, 100%.
That's awesome, man. So now I think that's 4. We have one more to go, right?
We have one more to go. Oh, geez, man. Okay,
I think we do.
yeah.
Let's see. I'll go through the list one more time.
Okay.
Just to see where we're at. We have Jim Brewer.
Okay.
Kevin Hart. Steve Martin. Dane Cook.
Okay.
Sam Kinnison. And Andrew Dice Clay.
Okay.
And what we could do now. So how many do we have? We have 2, 4. We have 6 guys. Is there anyone else that's on your list that you think? Because we both had Brewer. So right. So I think I have my whole 5. My 5, yeah. I gave you Kevin Hart, Jim Brewer, Dice, Kinnison, and I also had Doug Stanhope on the list. Doug Stanhope, he does have a rock star vibe to him. He does have a cult following.
Mm-hmm.
He does live the rock star lifestyle too, as far as drinking and drugging and all of that. But I think he slowed down a little bit in his older age. But early Doug Stanhope wasn't more rock and roll than this dude.
A professional drunk has the longevity of like a professional athlete. I'm getting to retirement age. I'm 36 now, and that's where you start to think about retirement. I mean, we'll not get out of it altogether. I'll still throw the ball around with the kids on the weekends, but as far as fucking working pro, I don't know how long you can do that.
He would like guzzle beers on stage.
Right.
He basically, a lot of his stand-up would be drunken murmurs. You know, but he always was kind of like had a philosophical sense about his material.
Okay.
That went against the grain. That was very socially aware.
Always that the new generation was over the top, and we're going to be the first generation of elderly people complaining, but in the opposite fashion, where we're going, look at these kids today, these half faggots. We used to do crank off of titty dancers and shit. It was no one got hurt. We had a lot of fun.
So there's just a lot to it, but he definitely fits the criteria.
Okay. So that would be how many then? That's 7?
Yeah, if you have one more. Otherwise, we can just start narrowing this list down.
Well, you know, it's funny because I wanted to make sure I was prepared, so I got a nice size list here. But I would. What about Bret Michaels?
Bret Michaels?
Yeah.
He is a rock star. Oh, but you think he's funny?
Did you hear his last album?
We've seen some good times. We've been through some bad.
That's an unintentionally comedy album.
It was a comedy album. His last solo album was terrible, man.
That's good.
So I also have Eddie Murphy. Yeah, I didn't want to skip Eddie Murphy. I mean, he was a rock star, delusional. He came out with that leather suit on. He took control of the stage, man. And just like Dice Clay, people would finish his jokes too, man. He was, to me, he was a rock star, 100%. And I didn't want to go by without mentioning.
Eddie Murphy, fuck you!
Fuck you, Eddie.
I totally
Eddie
agree.
Murphy. Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. I totally agree. Another Long Island comedian.
Yep.
Superstar, legend, and inspired a legion of comedians. He was inspired by Richard Pryor, but I think most comedians of today, they were all inspired by Eddie Murphy. But Eddie definitely had the rock star vibe. He checks off all the boxes. The only thing he didn't do that I'm not aware of is live the lifestyle, which is fine. I think that's why he became great, because he wasn't into drugs or drinking or fast women or any of that kind of stuff. But as far as his stage presence,
right,
as far as his fan base, as far as his impact on the world,
right,
Eddie Murphy definitely is a rock star comedian.
Good. Yeah.
All right.
I want to.
Yeah, I'm glad you threw him in there.
Yeah, he just did Coming to America too. I have to see that. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet either. I got to see it.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got to break this down. So now it's tough because we have a lot of great comedians on this list. I'll just read them off again, and as I read them off, tell me which ones you think should definitely make it and which ones you're on the fence with. Okay. And just be honest. You're not going to hurt my feelings if it's one of my picks.
Yeah, well, the thing is Kevin Hart. Unfortunately, I know he's funny. I've seen him. I just can't remember his material. So I don't want to BS you. I know the name. I know he's big, but he's probably the one I least likely know his material. I can't remember it. But
okay. So we both agree on Jim Breuer. So Jim Breuer,
100%.
We'll put him in for now at number 5. And not that this. I really. There's always a number order, but I don't really put them in a number order, just the top 5 guys. But we'll just say Jim Breuer at number 5.
Okay, Jim Breuer.
Then we have Steve Martin. So Steve Martin, this is when it gets tough. So I think Steve Martin belongs on the list as well.
Right.
I think he definitely fits the criteria. So let's just keep right now, and these might change around as we go. So we got Steve Martin as number 4.
Okay.
Sam Kinison has to be on there. Sam Kinison to me is number 1. We just push him to number 1.
I would.
Yeah,
he's the song. Yeah, Wild Thing. He had all those rock and roll stars on this video. I mean, he lived the life of a rock star.
Yeah, and
more than a comic, man.
Oh, definitely. And like I said, like in the beginning, the rules, not the rules, but the criteria kind of for rock star comedian was cult following, sell out arenas, and live the lifestyle or all the above, right?
Right.
He was the only one on this list that's all the above.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, so Sam Kinison is number 1.
Okay.
Then we got, I'll just do the ones I think that we both agree with first.
Okay.
Then you got Dice.
100% Dice, yeah.
So we'll put Dice at number 2.
Okay.
So we got Jim Breuer, Steve Martin, Dice, and Sam Kinison. And now we just need one more guy. And so here's the ones that we're going for this number 3 spot, because we got 5 and 4, now we need 3. We got Dane Cook, we got Doug Stanhope, and we got Eddie Murphy. So I think out of those 3, who do we take out first? This is when it gets tough. So I think Eddie obviously stays in the conversation for now.
Yeah.
And then do we get rid of Dane Cook or Stanhope? I don't know. It's a tough mix because both are completely different comedians. And the funny thing is too, the two of those guys, Stanhope and Cook, battled it out when they were young comedians in Boston in a comedy. They're both in like a comedy competition.
Okay. Wow. Here they are years later in this.
In our competition, but Stanhope won that one.
Oh, he did.
But and both have become legends in their own right. But so I think in this case, this is tough for me personally, but I think in this case we have to go Dane Cook beats out Stanhope, so we take Stanhope off the list.
Okay.
And,
by the way, I agree with you on that one.
All right, and now it's Dane Cook versus Eddie Murphy, and I think that's also kind of between these two guys. When you put it as a rock star, I think it would be blasphemy. I think the comments would blow us up if we chose Dane over Eddie.
100%. Yeah. He was scaring me, Don.
Yeah, I think it has to be Eddie Murphy.
That's a no-brainer, man. You know?
Yeah.
For me, at least, that's a no-brainer.
Right, man. So I think we got our list here. So here it is. We got at number 5, Jim Breuer. At number 4, Steve Martin.
Nice.
At number 3, Eddie Murphy. At
100%.
number 2, Andrew Dice Clay.
Okay.
And our number 1 rock star comedian of all time is Sam Kinison.
There you go, man. I agree 100%.
Yes, good stuff, man.
Sam Kinnison.
Yeah, man. That rocked. You rock, Joey.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Again, man, I always appreciate talking to you, having you on here. You've always been top dude for all the things we do over here. So I appreciate you, brother.
I'm glad I could be of help with you, Don. And Don, you do an amazing job on Put Up Shop, Stand Up. And this show here, this is an awesome show, man. I had a great time. I had a really good time.
Cool. Thanks, bro.
Thank
Joey
you,
Petroni.
Don.
So there you have it, folks. The top 5 greatest rock star comedians of all time. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let us know your top 5. And if we missed anybody or should have included somebody else, let us know. I'm always looking to hear what you have to say. So please, as always, subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. And hey, we'll see you next week. Peace, everybody.